You're listening to the Epically Geeky Show, a place for all things geeky.
Welcome out to the Epically Geeky Show, episode number 90. I'm your host for the evening, Eugene Stevens. Tonight's opening question is, if you're able to travel in time, where would you go? A, the day Disneyland opened. B, the day Star Wars opened. C, the first day the first McDonald's opened. Or D, the day that Stan Lee created Spider-Man. Ray.
I know what you're going to pick.
Oh, no, because do I get to witness the moment?
You get to witness. You are going to witness this.
Spider-Man's your favorite character.
So then it would be Spider-Man. It would be Stan Lee. Like, just to be there when he does it would be, like, just to be in the world. La, la, like,
Yeah. It's just an average day. You're walking down the street. You're like,
what's happening today? I don't want to see that. But
I was tardy for gym class and I got in trouble. Awesome. Great
Yeah.
job.
way to waste that one. No, I would be definitely going to see that creation and that thought process. And but the hard thing would be like, am I able to interact?
sure, absolutely.
See, the hard part would not influence.
Right. You want to
influence that, right? Like,
Hey, you have to be quiet there.
it would be so hard, dude.
What you doing, Stan? What's going on?
Yeah.
Sure about that?
I was thinking about a guy named Peter Pear.
I think he shouted Eureka.
Parker.
Yeah, exactly. That would be exactly what you're doing. You go, Parker.
Yeah.
How about what color do we want? Black and red. A lot of spiders are black and red. Black and blue. Black and blue. red and blue. Red and blue.
You could change the entire likeness of him, though. You could just make him look like you.
Oh my!
This big, buff, bald Canadian guy.
Oh my God, that would be awesome.
Just slightly changed. No, he's from Canada.
No, he's Canadian.
You know what you should do? Captain Canada. Just think.
Yeah, there you go.
There is a Captain Canada.
I know. I've seen him. He's ridiculous.
Kind of pathetic.
All right, Chris, what would you pick?
I'd go to Star Wars.
Okay.
And I would take my dad because my dad was, I think he was 18 or 19.
Mm-hmm.
I'd take my dad.
So just to be clear,
Or be there with sit in the same movie theater as my dad.
just to be clear, if you had have put Star Wars the 2-week earlier premiere, like the special premiere, if that had been the choice, I would have went to that one with Stephen Colbert. Just saying. Anyway,
that would
You
have
had
been
to
awesome.
one-up me.
yeah,
Jesus.
love you.
Lainey, we already know what your answer is.
Actually, you don't. So,
What?
okay, so you mean Disneyland, correct?
Land. Yes. Walt Disney is, hey, everybody, come
55.
check it out. I'm right here.
It was shit.
No, I don't want to go there because they called it Black Sunday. It was so horrible. The opening day of Disneyland was like Walt's Folly. It was awful. They didn't have fucking water fountains. The asphalt was still wet. Women's heels were sinking into it. There were fucking TV cameras everywhere. Rides were shutting down. It was a fucking shit show. Like 3,000 extra people showed up that weren't supposed to. It was a nightmare.
Oh, holy crap.
So even though the outfits would have been super fucking cute, I have no desire to go to Disneyland on opening day.
Okay.
So, nice try. I think it would be really fun to go to the opening of Star Wars. That would be really epic. And I can imagine getting to be in that theater. First of all, again, I look really cute in 70s clothing, but getting to be in that theater with all of those other people and experience this brand new thing that no one knows anything about for the first time, that would be really fucking cool. I would genuinely enjoy that experience, especially since that is my favorite Star Wars movie. So that would be really, I would love it. It would make me fall in love with it all over again. Time after time.
Yeah, I'm definitely there as well. Going there and watching it on opening the opening day would be just insane. So, because everyone would be like, "Oh, hey, this looks like an interesting movie," and then just walking out and being one of those people that probably walks out and just turns, and you just walk and get right back in line. So, or actually, if we've been reading, y'all been reading the How Star Wars Conquered the Universe. Star Wars the movie is the movie that caused movie theaters to start ushering people out after the movies, because otherwise they'd just be like, we'll stay in that's fine. Now it's like, no, you have to leave. We're charging you for the second viewing.
Even after your, Marvel movie, they're like, are you gonna go? No, I'm fucking not, because you know what, I'm not? A rookie.
We had that with some friends of ours. They left us there.
Oh, they left. I'm like, you're funny.
They pieced out and they're like, well, we're staying, so.
You don't have to just sit there and look around, just noobs, just fucking, what are you people doing? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
We were talking before the, go on.
Sorry, I was going to say the problem that we have now is my buddies will look to me. Like, so we're all in a line. I'm usually at one of the ends. And all of a sudden, all the heads go, yeah, we stay.
That's exactly what I do. I look at Eugene and go, okay, where are we going? What's happening? So.
Yeah. I get 5 heads looking at me as if we're gonna. So is there an extra credit or like what are we? Like, no. Sit down. We're good.
Okay. Yeah.
There's 2. I know with the latest one, there's only 1.
I get a warning. Okay. I get a warning from him. He's like, we're staying. There's this many. And go by.
Guardians of the Galaxy was the best one because after 2 of them, like some of the guys went to get up. I'm like, and they're like, seriously, there's more. Oh, yeah, 3 more. Let's go.
Yeah, I forgot there were quite a few on that one. The reason why I asked this question is because we're stealing a topic from another podcast that I listened to. The guys over at Nerd Lunch did this, and they called it First and Last, and I just really liked the topic, and I was like, it's funny, I was like, I don't know if I really want to just kind of steal it from them, though, and they literally make the comment, oh, yeah, I listen to other podcasts to kind of steal ideas, and I'm like, well, then I don't have a problem with it.
No issue with that at all.
Yeah. So no, this was a fairly simple, straightforward show idea. So I just there was a bunch of questions. I pulled a bunch of them from their episode because they were actually pretty good questions. And a lot of us remember either the first or last time we either did, experienced, owned something or another. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about mostly pop culture related stuff, but we're going to be talking about our first and last, or in some cases both of different things. So kind of the typical first, when was your first blank question is, what was your first car? And we'll just go ahead and start a pattern and we'll just keep going around with it. So who would like to go first?
Sure.
Oh.
All right, Ray, go ahead.
So my first car that I was actually able to own, and thanks to my parents, because, it was a 1997 Saturn SL1. It was a 4-door Saturn, green, terrible brownish gray interior, but it was standard, which was the most important part.
Tell them what you did to the trunk.
Oh, of course you got to stuff 12-inch subwoofers in the back of that thing.
God.
He's not joking.
But hang on. Because I shared the car at first with my parents, I made sure there was a switch to turn them on and off. So that way they didn't bother them when they were driving. That thing was...
It was indestructible.
The engine wouldn't die. I tried to kill that engine. Wouldn't die. But just before we got rid of it, the back doors stopped working. So... it wasn't that the seats closed, they seized open. So I had to tie them together.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Because we never used them. Because it was just us, so it was just always the 2 front doors. And so he had bungee cords holding them together. It was together.
I had to tie it all. Oh yeah. That was a lot of fun. It was a great car though.
Yeah, it was a good little car.
Loved that thing. It was it got me everywhere. So
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Chris, what was your first car?
My first car was with the help of Ray, because I didn't get a car till I was 23. 22, 23. Okay, so it was a 2004 Toyota Echo hatchback in electric blue.
Ooh, okay.
And I loved that car.
It was an automatic.
It was automatic. Obviously, I can't drive stick. And we brought both babies.
Logan. Oh yeah, both babies.
We brought both babies home in that car.
Aw.
Yeah.
She was pretty mad at me the day we sold it.
Yeah. Yeah. You never forget your first.
No.
You know?
No.
Understandable.
So
Yeah.
I bought her a Kia Soul instead.
Yeah, which totally makes up for it because I love that car.
It's like it's the big brother to that little Echo.
Yeah.
So
There you go. Lainey, first car.
I had a black 2001 Ford Ranger that had the suicide doors in the back. And Eugene remembers this car.
I sure do.
And it had a shell on the back as well. So it kind of looked like a little SUV. You what? Yeah, it was bad.
Manual?
No. Are you kidding? My grandfather bought me this car. He wasn't going to buy me a manual transmission vehicle. He knew better than that.
Manual little Ranger? That'd be awesome.
I know. Well, I had a friend who had when she was 16, she had a manual Ranger. She's like, dude, we used to have so much fun with that. But I loved it. We called it my Danger Ranger. I named him. Called him Pepe because he was a little shrimp of a truck. So I named him after a Muppet that was also a shrimp. So I loved that car. I went everywhere, my little Danger Ranger. And I liked it too because of the camper shell. I rode horses and stuff all through high school. And so I could just shove my tack and shit in the back of it. If I had to go to a horse show or wherever, it was awesome. And because there wasn't a ton of extra room in my car, people didn't ask me for rides super often, which was really fucking nice because I was a crazy 16, 17, 18-year-old and always had a job to go to and, the barn and choir rehearsal and newspaper and all that fun stuff. So I was like, I'm trying to be taxiing your ass around town. I have places to go. But I was
the taxi.
Yeah, you were the taxi.
I was not. I was a pain in the ass. I was like, no, I'm not fucking taking you anywhere. I gotta go. It's not on my way. I'm not taking you.
We fit 9 people in that Saturn.
Oh, Jesus.
The other thing is I knew if my grandfather found out that I had fit more than 2 other people in that vehicle, it would have been my ass, and I wasn't about to have that.
We drove that to Quebec and back, didn't we?
Oh yeah, that thing made it to Quebec.
Yeah.
Quebec City and back, and the water pump had started to go on it, but it survived. So
that was for your 18th birthday.
That was for my 18th birthday.
Yeah.
Ryan says Saturn, what a chick magnet.
It worked.
There you go. Got the right one.
Yeah.
Thank you, GM.
Hell yeah. The first car I had was I drove some different cars that my mom had or whatever. We shared vehicles. My first actual car though, I was best friends with, or I was good friends with the valedictorian the year after I graduated, and all through high school he drove this car. And then since he was going off to college, his dad was a mechanic, wanted to get him something that was more reliable to drive to college and everything. So he put it up for sale, and I drove by and just happened to see it, and ended up borrowing the money from my grandmother to buy a 1965 Ford Mustang V8 dual exhaust.
You're not.
Had an air conditioner in it. I cannot tell you how many guys in their 30s and 40s said that exact same thing. You do not deserve this car. I'm like, dude, I take care of this car. Shut up.
Off as soon as drove by. I'm going to interject. I love Eugene. I love him dearly. There's no way he was cool enough to have a car when he had the car.
Nope. I was not cool enough to own that car, but I fucking owned it.
Yeah,
You're also not cool enough to go up to a girl and make out with her in a bookstore, but you did that too. So.
Well, that's true. So,
Good point.
Yeah, I guess I'm swinging above my above my play grade there. But no, and the only reason I got rid of that car was I had moved back, and I was going to be going to Texas State Technical College in Waco, which was an hour drive, an hour there and an hour back. And I was like, I am not going to drive this classic car on a highway on a horrible interstate, for an hour 2 hours every single day. I will destroy this car. So I found someone who I knew would take care of it. I sold it, ended up getting a little Ford Focus, which my wife tells me I still looked like Mr. Incredible in every time I get in it, because she's like, you're all bunched up. And I'm like, I am not. I'm fine. So shut up. So yeah, that was my first car. So next question. What is the last TV series that you binged, Ray?
So my answer is different from Chris's, which is a little surprising because normally we binge watch together. She took off on this one by herself. So.
Yes, I did.
Mine is The Office. We watched The Office back to back to back.
Yeah, we've seen the series, I think, 2 times.
Two times all the way through now.
Yeah.
And that was, it was awesome.
5.
5.
Wow.
Oh my.
Long story.
That's awesome. No, I probably will watch it. I will watch it until they take it off Netflix.
Yeah. We because the first time we binge watched it, I was doing other things. I can't remember what it was, so I didn't get to watch all the episodes. This is the time that I got to see all of them, and I still love the end. What a way to end this series.
That was probably one of my favorite series finales ever for a show.
Good deal. Chris, what's the last TV show you binged?
I'm currently binge watching this. It's How I Met Your Mother. I never watched it while I was on television.
Oh, okay.
And I know the ending there was a lot of controversy with the ending. So Logan's watching this with me because quickly. Okay. He needs to say hello. Hello.
Okay. Hey, Gwen.
Bye.
Good night.
I'll be in a second. Logan's like, this is How I Met Your Mother? And I'm like, yeah, but it takes them 9 seasons. She goes, excuse me?
She's like, why?
Yeah.
I would have just told my kids right away.
She's like that. I could see the look on her face, like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
She and I feel the same way about it.
Yeah. So I know what's coming, but I've never watched it before.
Okay, but that being said, he tells stories like my family tells stories.
Oh my God, yes.
So that's why it takes 9 years.
Exactly, yes.
Canada and experience that, because that's delightful.
Listen, Lainey, you come up. I will introduce you to my sister, and she gives you a small taste of how they.
We write down lists of points so that we can go back to them as we're talking, because she goes off on tangents.
Yeah. Nice.
Literally, I have to. I got so mad at her one day because she was going off on all these different tears on different. I said, I need a piece of paper and a pen. She's like, why? I said, just give me a piece. So we find it, and I start writing down points of where we left off in different parts of the. And I'm like, okay, let's go back to this one. And she got angry at me at first, and then she laughed. She said, yeah, that's actually kind of useful. Let's use that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Lainey, what's the last TV series that you binged?
Well, I was really hoping I would have a cooler answer, but I don't, because I fell asleep while I was trying to binge something else the other day. So I didn't finish it. So I don't feel like that qualifies as binging.
Okay.
Right? So the last thing I binged was probably Queer Eye.
Okay.
I got through like all of those on like a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And my whole life. It was so much fun. And then watched it again and again and again. Because
I'm through most of them. There are a few that I still haven't finished quite at the end, but yeah. So I enjoy it. I like what they've done with the new series.
I love it. I love Jonathan Van Ness. He's my sweet little angel. I love him. He's so cute.
Well, speaking of Netflix, that was my answer. Now, granted, when I binge something nowadays, it's like watching at least 4 or 5 episodes in a row. Which, I mean, depending on the series, sometimes that's half the series or, half the season or whatever. So, the last thing that I binged was Lost in Space from Netflix. That show is hard to just watch one episode. Like you watch one, you're just like, all right, I have to keep going. So
we watched 2 and I was done. Like I had to get up at 4:30 and, like we were talking about, and Quinn was watching with us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sorry, dude, I got to go to bed. So we finished 2 episodes and, that's where we're at right now. So it's a good show. I can see us binging that one pretty quick.
Yeah, it's very well done. So, All right. So next question. What is the last podcast you listened to that you were not in?
Yeah, for me, it was Steve Dangle, Steve Dangle podcast. So Steve Dangle is a YouTuber. He does a thing called LFR, which is a Leaf fans reaction. And after every hockey game with the Leafs, he goes off on whether so good or bad. He does a little intro, which is usually pretty funny, and then he does his critique of the game and his take on it. What I suggest, if you want to check him out and what he's all about, go watch the Nashville 9-2 loss. That's all you have to put is Steve Dangle 9-2 loss, and it will be a Nashville versus Toronto game. And that gives you everything you need to know about what he's like, because it is fucking hilarious how he gets irate. Quinn is very about slapstick humor.
He's a stooge.
And he loves listening to Steve Dangle because he just goes off. And every time he yells and screams, it's fucking hilarious. So, yeah, that's the YouTube. That's the YouTuber. That's how I got onto him. He has his own podcast, which is actually a bit of a radio show on one of the sports channels up here as well. So that's the last one I listened to. They during the NHL season, they do 2 episodes a week, and usually a couple of hours each. And then during the summer, they'll do an hour. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Chris, what's the last podcast you've listened to that you went on? You don't seem very enthusiastic about that.
Listen, how do I word this? So it's taken me a while to appreciate Steve Dangle because he yells and he gets he has all the feels. And he's yelling. I'm like, I can't listen. He's just yelling for an hour, babe. I can't listen to this. And then the more and more he made me listen to it because he likes to listen to it in the car. I'm like, okay, he's funny. This is his shtick. He's actually a really nice guy. He's a real true fan. And so it kind of reminds me of my dad and him, where any sports fan, where they're yelling at the TV thinking that they have some sort of impact. Like, I'm doing good here by screaming at the television, they can hear me. So, and out of this, because he's such a fan, a lot of great opportunities have come his way. So I like it because he's a real fan that's good stuff's come to.
He's therapeutic for us, for Leafs fans in general as well.
Yes.
He's very therapeutic for us. So it's therapy.
If it wasn't for I would never listen to him though. Right, because it's all he talks about is the Leafs. Yeah. And I don't care.
Can y'all hear me? No. Yeah. There we go. I'm back. Oh. It was recording, y'all. I couldn't hear you, but okay. So,
therapeutic for us is all we were really saying.
I don't know. I figured I had frozen. So, Lainey, what was the last podcast that you listened to that you weren't in?
That everybody can already guess what it is. I listened to My Favorite Murder again.
Imagine that.
Well, because they just caught the Golden State Killer.
Yes. Michelle McNamara.
Okay, there's a lot going on, but it's funny because I don't know if anybody knows anything about the Golden State Killer, but they actually so Michelle McNamara, who was Patton Oswalt's late wife, basically what she did. She was an amateur sleuth, essentially, and she was in the process of writing a book about the Golden State Killer. He is called the Golden State Killer because of Michelle McNamara. Yeah. She is, I don't care what anybody says, she has a lot to do with the fact that they caught this guy. She really does.
Yeah, because the police said that she didn't, that no, it was...
Of course they fucking did.
Yeah, they were saying it was different tips and over time. And
you're not going to credit the mouthy broad that was on their ass for years saying, no, you really need to check this out and this out and this out. I've got these leads and I've noticed this and I noticed this and I went to this part of the crime scene. I saw this and I saw that. Of course, they're not going to give her any credit. But she absolutely 100% needs to be credited with some of this because...
Absolutely.
She had a lot to do with it. But it's interesting because they finished her book posthumously. Like some of the other investigators helped just kind of fit the rest of the pieces together. had it published. And so they just did an episode all about the book. And I was actually about to start reading it. Everybody told me to make sure that I was only reading it in the daytime because it is apparently very creepy. I was a fucking psycho. Like, fuck this guy. I'm so fucking glad that
he used to be a cop, right? Like it was.
Yep. He was a fucking cop. Anyway, but yeah, they did a special episode because they caught him, and it just like the pure joy of listening and like reveling in like the joy of all the other murderinos. Like my friend Molly and I were texting about it, and we're super excited because this is a huge deal. This is a big one for us. So we're all very excited. But yeah, I listened to that episode, and I listened to it again because I wanted to listen to it with non-adrenaline filled ears.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, shocker of all shockers, I'm being very on brand. I listened to My Favorite Murder earlier today.
Well, there you go.
Because I love murder.
I would like to have said a particular podcast was the last one I listened to, but it wasn't the case. I was being honest on this because I literally was writing my list for this yesterday. And I was like, oh, I guess technically that is the last one. Last one I listened to was Where Should We Begin with Esther Perel.
Do you love it?
Oh yeah, I love it.
It's
the last episode came out yesterday, so that's why I was listening to it. I was like, okay, well, yeah, this will be the last thing I listen to. I have to change my answer on this. So, number one, her books are incredible. But yeah, listening to some of the stuff that these people are willing to share about, stuff that they're going through in their relationships is really interesting. So I'm not normal. It's funny. This doesn't normally fit into things I'm interested in, but for some reason, especially with her and the particular things that she covers, I do find really interesting. So
very unique new age approach, I feel like, to relationships.
Yes.
To listen to her talk to these couples and present things in a very logical way, but a way that a lot of them don't really understand because of the way that our society kind of views normal relationships and everything. It's very, very interesting. Okay, squirrel.
No, there's a freaking fly in here, and I'm like, where the hell did the fly come from? Anyway.
I see it too. But yeah, no, it's just really interesting. She is wonderful. I really enjoy that podcast because she gives me new things to think about, whether it's good or bad. She gives me a lot of stuff to think about. Eugene's dying.
I'm not dying.
No, he reminds me of the Stranger Things when they won the award.
Oh, and Winona Ryder's just kind of like,
yes.
She doesn't know what's going on.
Me all the time.
Well, thanks for that. Out, man. Yeah. Just stand here while Lainey's talking. I'm like, oh. All right, next question. This one was first and last. First and last album purchased. Ray.
I'm actually really happy that this happened with me because so my first, you know what, I'm going to give my last one first. So the last one that I bought was Wasting Light for Foo Fighters. That's the last time that I bought one, which is awesome. It's a wicked album. My first one that I ever bought, I'll never forget it because my parents got me something that I'll talk about afterwards. So it was Dookie. Green Day Dookie was my first album that I ever bought with my own money. Yeah.
Fuck me for being born in 1990 because I didn't stand a fucking chance to ever have a good answer to this question. Like,
you didn't.
No.
I am never going to be the cool person. My favorite band is Led Zeppelin. I fucking love the goddamn Cranberries and Melvins and fucking... But no, my answer for this question is always going to be fucking lame, no matter what.
Care Bear!
Fuck me.
Chris, what is your first and last album you purchased?
So the first one that I remember buying, it was through Columbia House. When you
did Columbia?
Hell yeah!
My mom had it. It was U2's Achtung Baby. I was in 8th grade, and then and it was and Sting's album that came out that time too. The one with in Fields of Gold, but I can't remember the album name, but I bought them at the same time. And I honestly, Lainey, you're going to kill me. I don't remember the last time I bought an album. Like, I actually do not remember the last time I went and bought a CD or downloaded an album or anything.
I am the same way. So
I don't remember. It's been years. Like, I like songs, but to have a whole album, it's been years. I don't remember.
That's okay. I am mad at it.
My cool points get some taken away.
That is the way we've been conditioned to listen to music at this point. You're fine.
Yeah, I just put it into the chat. Take a drink. Chris mentioned Sting.
Yeah, Sting is not in U2.
No, but she said Sting.
She did.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, all right, Lainey.
Wait,
Is that a part of a drinking game?
I'm guessing so. Yes, Ryan said, did I just hear Sting? So,
okay.
Oh, that we mentioned Sting on the episode, not that Chris specifically.
Yeah, I was like, I've never talked
Got
about
no,
it.
not her specifically. It's just yes.
Drink.
Yes.
But
All right, Lainey. What is your horrible answers or answer?
I hate this question. So, because I am a product of my decade, and although I did grow into a very cool 90s kid, I have very good taste in music. I have the podcast to prove it.
all right, just give it up.
The very first album, like actual like CD that I ever bought with my own money was the soundtrack to the box office hit Drive Me Crazy, starring Melissa Joan Hart and Adrian Grenier.
Yep.
In a terrible, terrible movie with hits by such artists as S7 and the Backstreet Boys. However, there were some really good fucking ska songs on there too, so I maintain a little bit of credibility. All right, there was a Less Than Jake song on there that was fucking.
No.
Leave me alone.
I'm sorry. No, you can't sell that.
7,
No.
8. I don't even know. I was experimenting with different kinds of music. All my dad ever listened to was the Rolling Stones. I didn't know.
There's pop music. What is this?
Literally, that was how I rebelled. That was what I did. That was different.
Pop is how you rebel.
Yes. If you ever
Listen, you can't sell this anymore, lady. I'm sorry. It's
if
just...
you ever go and listen to Epic Rhythm and Blues, Parker and I talk about that, where we're like, yeah, I mean, that was kind of our way of being like different than our parents, which is listening to music that came out in the last 10 years. Like, that,
We're losing Eugene again. It was.
I'm sorry, the fly came back, number one, and number two, now Conan is standing at the door talking to me.
Murray is sleeping beautifully at the end of the bed.
I may have to tell Christy to come to lay him outside because I think that's what he's bitching about. So what is the last album that you've purchased, Lainey?
So I have a question. Do you mean physical album that I purchased?
No, digital I think counts.
Okay, now do you mean purchased with money digitally or downloaded with my Apple Music subscription?
That's legit. That's fine.
No, that's fine because you still paid money for your subscription. So no, that's legit. Yeah.
Okay, because I want to say there was like I know the last album I like actually bought before I had my Apple Music subscription, but the last album I downloaded was go figure, a fucking album from like 1997. It's a Corner Shop album, which is called When I Was Born for the Seventh Time. So I've been diving deep into Corner Shop's back catalog. If you don't know who they are, they're a really cool band from the 90s. They have some super cool Indian influences, and they're really great. And I really appreciate them and enjoy listening to their music.
Oh,
so,
I know who Corner Shop is. That Brimful of Asher?
Yes, I got a Brimful of Asher. Yeah, that's
okay. All right, yeah, I know you're talking about that.
Yeah, so it's a good album, and I've very much enjoyed it. Yeah, I downloaded it. It was my airport jam. I was listening to it while I was being super cool and reading feminist literature and getting drunk in the Austin airport. So
feminine literature, drunk in the Austin airport, some sitar music. Pretty sure that qualifies.
You are very on brand for Austin, let me tell you.
Lainey. Could not get more Lainey than that.
Yeah.
Peak Lainey.
That's somebody trying to be Lainey too hard.
That is a Lainey poser too hard to be Lainey. But
Yeah.
that is very Lainey.
Well, as Lainey would say, my first album is very on brand for me. The first album I can never remember buying was on cassette. And it was the Jurassic Park soundtrack because
Hey, all
it's
right.
fucking awesome. And I didn't really listen to a lot of music, and I was just like, this movie is awesome, and the music is awesome. So, the last album that I purchased would have been now this is totally not on brand for me, but it's still pretty fucking awesome.
Now, isn't it?
No, actually, you don't know how close the first album would have been, but I really had to stop and think about it. No, is the soundtrack for The Greatest Showman, because this music
Oh,
in
that's
that,
a great. I like that soundtrack.
it's a very good soundtrack, and it's a very good movie, and yeah, so, but yeah, I'm Chris. I'm like you in that I like songs from certain individuals, but I don't necessarily like entire albums. So whenever I like plunk down music or money for an entire album, it's very far and few between. And a lot of times it tends to be soundtracks because then I can get a little bit of different things, stuff.
See,
All right.
Chris needs a lot of variety. So she likes to watch or like listen to the radio or stuff. I could listen to an album over and over and over again. And
Depending on the album, I could be that way.
I can listen to an album over and over again, but you like live versions.
Yes.
I don't. So
no, there are some
he
amazing
loves
live
versions.
albums.
It depends. It depends.
Yeah.
There are some amazing live albums.
Great live album, but there's some that are also super shit. So
Oh, there's some that are awful, and I don't want to listen to it. But there's something else about hearing certain songs, and then when the band stops and you hear the crowd take over, it's just there's something about that. So
there's a lot to be said. John Mayer has a really good live album. Just FYI. Just.
All right. Staying on the music trend, what was your first music device? Now, I was going to specifically say MP3 player, but I just left it as music device.
An iPod.
Never had an MP3 player.
Oh
So,
no! It wasn't an iPod. It was something different. Oh no!
Ray, what was your first musical device?
yeah, sorry, we had a brief conversation of never owning an iPod, but she did. So anyway, it was
No, an MP3 player. I didn't know that
Wait,
was
it's
an
an
MP3.
iPod.
I didn't know that.
That's the iPod.
Okay.
okay. So along with me buying that Dookie album, my parents got me for my birthday a Sanyo boombox. This thing, if you look that up, you'll see it. It had detachable speakers.
Nice.
It had the equalizers and everything on it. Double cassette tape that you could record off of. CD player. This thing was kick ass. I, in grade 6, DJ'd our dance. No, sorry, grade 5. It was grade 5. I DJ'd our dance with this thing.
Mr. Fish's class.
Mr. Fish's class.
Ah, that's awesome.
We weren't allowed to go to the school dance, so we had
You
our own
weren't old
dance,
enough.
and I DJ'd it, and it was awesome. And yeah,
That is
that
super
thing
cute.
that thing kicked ass.
I did not know that. That's
Yep.
awesome.
We that thing, I had that for a long time, and I couldn't kill those speakers. Like it got rained on, we bring it outside. It was awesome. It was so Dookie was played out of that. I think I wore the CD out. Like it was. Yep.
Nice. Chris, what was your first music device?
You just got a little cuter. Sorry, I just had to say I didn't know that. Super cute. A Walkman. I don't know what kind. It was black. I got it for Christmas. I was about 13. My mom wrapped it poorly, so I knew exactly what it was. It was in the exact shape of
She probably
the little
even
clamshell.
like the wires. And
No, but it came in those, those impossible plastic clamshell thingies that you need like a saw to get through. It was shit, and I knew exactly what it was. And I had that Walkman. I think I broke the headphones. I used to sleep with it. Maybe I was 12. Oh, I know. Yes, I was 12, and I used to sleep with it. It had I had a Nutcracker tape that I got one year for Christmas, and I used to fall asleep to the Nutcracker soundtrack. So, sleeping too much with it, and I busted one of the headphone thingies off it. So it didn't last very long. And then I had one of those really cool clear ones with like the day glow orange attachment on it. It looked like one of those, like an OtterBox Walkman.
But you could see all the gears turning.
You could see all the
that.
gears
Yeah.
and everything in it, and it was clear. I had that in high school. That was pretty cool because it was clear and orange.
Nice.
That was super cool.
Lainey, first music device.
I don't remember exactly like what model this stereo was, but I am my father's daughter, so I had a pretty nice stereo for my first one. It was like his old one, but my dad was a super intense like audiophile, and so
He let you play pop music out of that thing?
No, listen, but he didn't know. So it's fine.
But Dad didn't know.
No, you know what he would have been more mad about was the fact that I played Aerosmith on that thing. That would have pissed him off. Again, that's how I rebelled.
Oh, Aerosmith is awesome. Why would
Not
you be pissed
Philip,
about
it's not. Not to Philip, it's not. But
whatever.
that was the only acceptable album. But yeah, I had his old like 90 or it's probably like late 80s Sony boombox. It was pretty good size, had two like big good size speakers on the side, but it did have like the handle, and I just remember it had like the equalizer, like you could fix the bass and the treble and everything.
Nice.
It was so fucking fun. I used to play with that all the time. And then, but I remember it was funny because the CD player, like where you put the CD in, you like pressed a little lever and it like loaded differently. So like the thing would come out. It would. They both came out like a cassette tape thing would.
Really?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was weird. So I remember I covered it with stickers that I got from the roller skating rink because I was super cool.
Oh, yeah.
And I played that thing way too loud and sometimes got into trouble until I got my first like Jay-Z song and would play it super, super low so no one else could hear it so I wouldn't get in trouble. I was having a time in the 90s. I was really trying to figure out what kind of music I liked. And the answer was all of it. All of the music, it was everything. But yeah, I love that thing. I used that thing until like it finally just would not work anymore. So
nice.
Very on brand as young Lainey. There was never not music playing in my room. I remember getting my first like Discman and I took that fucking everywhere with me. Like I've always been that way. I've always had headphones in or something. There's never not music playing. So go figure.
I had my first one really that I really latched onto was a Sony Walkman because I would go, walking or doing stuff or whatever and would have it. And my biggest gripe about it was always though, when the batteries would start to get, drained, the music would slowly start to get a little bit slower. And you're just like, no. Yeah. Which is why I liked the idea of a Discman, which, of course, that was the big thing when they first came out. And then they were like, no, now they've got anti-skip so that you could actually walk with it and it wouldn't skip the disc constantly. But I held on to the cassette for so much longer, mainly because I could, once again, take different songs or record stuff off the radio and put it on there. Whereas, if you've just got a Discman, unless you carry a bunch of discs with you, whatever you've got with you, that's what you're listening to. And that's it. So, yeah.
See, that's why I love the scene in Apollo 13 when the batteries are starting to die, the things slowly.
Oh, yeah.
You can hear the music. I'm like, yeah, that's what it used to be like.
That's exactly what it used to be like. First celebrity crush, Ray.
I know this one.
This one's easy. Cindy Crawford, man.
Really?
Oh, dude.
No, yeah, dude. I understand that one.
I was, like
formative years.
Formative years, yeah. She was awesome. I'm pretty sure I saw her with a picture of her in front of a Lamborghini Countach, and that's like what everybody had. Like it was.
Yeah.
That's why I like the Lamborghini. I'm pretty sure.
Lucky cars. They're terrible.
Yeah. Oh, they're a terrible, terrible car. Absolutely one of the worst supercars ever made. But Cindy Crawford made it popular. So.
Yes, she did, and now she sells furniture.
Yeah. I'll never forget. We were on some sort of like it was a bring your parent to class day or something like that, and we were talking about we had to make a presentation of. Or answer questions about who you would take or who you would be alone with on an island.
I've heard this.
And so, there's my dad and he's looking all proud or whatever. And
his dad's a cop.
Yeah. So, he's, who are you going to be on a deserted island all by yourself with? And first thing I said, Cindy Crawford. I'm like in grade 6.
Nice.
And my dad, what? I think he was actually, oh, okay. Made sense to him afterwards. But
Yeah. That's hilarious. All right, Chris, first celebrity crush.
I remember this vividly. I was 9 years old, and it was Joey McIntyre from New Kids on the Block.
Oh, God.
Because he was the youngest one, and he was super, super cute. And, yeah, I had a big, massive crush on him when I was 9. It was like my first real big-time celebrity crush.
Mm-hmm.
He was so cute.
Nice.
He was! He had this baby face. He was like in that group when he was like 14 or 15, and he was so teeny. Anyways, I thought it was adorable.
Yeah, and they screwed up his childhood forever.
I don't think that happened.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Well, because he was the youngest one, I'm sure there was some jump.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably.
Time. He's
Lainey,
therapy.
first celebrity crush.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
I was gonna say that.
Obviously.
You would have been the perfect age for that.
Yeah, well, he was on Home Improvement when I was a kid, and I was obsessed with him. And then, dude, he voiced Simba, like young Simba. And every girl my age had a crush on Simba, and none of us knew how to deal with it. So,
so you watch Tool Man Taylor, and away you go.
So oh my God, I loved him. He was funny. He was so cute. And then as he got older, he got even cuter. But yeah, that was hardcore. My very first celebrity crush. I was in love with him. I would buy Tiger Beat with his pictures.
Yeah, Pop Crush.
Like Teen Bop, and oh my God, I loved him.
I have posters of him in my room too.
Awesome.
He's pretty cute.
I like my celebrity better.
Mine first would have to be Carrie Fisher.
There you go.
To steal the line from Wayne's World, seeing her in the metal bikini kind of made me feel a little funny.
When you climb the rope and take off.
Damn it, she was hot in that bikini. Yeah, so I had to kind of stop and think about that, and then like as soon as it hit me, I was like, oh no, that's definitely the answer. That's the first time I remember being like, wow, girls can be kind of like, yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's weird. She's like, girls are gross, but she's not gross at all.
And you know what that really is the hormone monster is like, yeah, I like her.
Exactly, yeah. I'm so glad y'all watched that. That show is so fucking hilarious. All right. Last live show / event that you've been at.
This one kicks ass too. Sorry, Lainey.
All right, Ray, what you got?
Guns N' Roses.
I don't care about Guns N' Roses, so you're fine.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. When they played November Rain,
Oh my God.
holy shit!
Oh.
You could hear a pin drop, and then all of a sudden they would like the piano was playing. It came out of the stage, and each like Slash was there, and every band member had their moment, and they all allowed each other to have that time. It was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care about the first half of the show.
No.
First half of the show was like,
We didn't know any of the songs.
and then you could tell most of the crowd was like waiting for the big stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
And all of a
Yeah.
sudden they just kicked off into it. And then when November Rain had it was awesome.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
It was I'll never forget it. So we get to the area and we had to get searched by security. And we were starving because we didn't stop for dinner. I think we were going to be running late or something. So we grabbed snacks.
No, honey, wrong concert. That was Green Day.
Oh, that was Green Day.
Yeah.
Wrong concert. Never mind.
He's cute though, isn't he?
That was the other one. It was,
Where they confiscated our Cliff Bars.
no, yours, not mine.
Yeah, because he was bigger than the security guard. So the security guard let him go, but mine got taken. Now, the Guns N' Roses concert, I had to check my backpack.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Your backpack.
We had to go to the other end of the Rogers Center and go to some dark hallway so I could check my backpack. I wasn't sure I was going to get it back.
I was surprised we did.
Damn.
Yeah.
So is yours the same answer, Chris?
It is
Or
the same answer. Yes.
alrighty.
And I much like Ray. Yeah, it was really, really good. And
It was a good
Rain
show,
was
yeah.
my favorite part.
Yeah, I knew that was your favorite part.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite songs.
Sweet Child of Mine was good. And...
The whole thing was
it
fabulous.
was awesome.
Nice.
Again, I appreciate that Slash was there. I wouldn't have gone if Slash wasn't there.
No, we wouldn't have gone.
And then to like the other favorite game that I played, and if we had been playing a drinking game, it would have been. When did you notice?
Axl Rose.
Axl, yeah. When did Axl leave the stage? Oh, he's gone. Take a drink. Oh, he's back with a different coat on. Take a drink. Oh, he's gone again. Take a drink. Like who would?
He was in and out the entire time.
I swear to God, he's going back for therapy. Like, I don't know if I can do this. No, it's okay. It's good. And he goes back in with a different coat on. Like,
Lainey, what was the last live show / event you went to?
My favorite murder live in Dallas, Texas. It was amazing, and I might have cried twice. I don't know. It was so much fun.
That's hilarious.
Fucking blast. I got to sit because it went with Molly, obviously. And we took the boys, and it was funny because at one point we're sitting like it's Molly and then David and then me and then Parker. And at one point I looked at David. I was like, why the hell am I not sitting with Molly? He's like, I have no idea. So we switched, and Molly and I screamed and cried, and I started crying as soon as I saw them come out. It was a very big deal. And then at the end, they brought out, this is the kind of stuff I geek out over, okay? At the very end, they brought out this woman that everybody that listens to the podcast knows about because she has the best I Survived story. And she's from Houston. But they brought her out as a surprise. It was funny because when they started to mention we have a special guest, some of you guys might remember, whenever Karen can't think of a murder to talk about, she just does an episode of I Survived, basically. And as soon as she said that, Molly and I started clutching each other's hands because it's Jennifer Moore. Oh my God, it's really happening. And yeah, it was like seeing a beetle. We just started crying. It was a lot. So it was awesome. It was very cool to be in a room full of other like-minded people, essentially. It's mostly women. There are dude murderinos. That's a thing. It's not, and there's lots of guys that are super into true crime, but for the most part, it's mostly women, and we're all fucking cool and awesome and believe in pepper spraying first and asking questions later and believe that politeness is bullshit. Polite because it might get you murdered. So I loved it. It was so much fun.
See, that's how I felt whenever I would go, when I went to a couple of the different, Dig Nation events and stuff in Austin years and years ago. But the last live event thing that I went to, you were at, and that was a monster truck show in Waco.
Oh, I guess then Eugene and I both went to the same one.
Yeah, that was...
That was when Cyrus asked for your geek card back.
Yeah, that was so...
About that, because the whole way there, I went with Christy and Eugene because I wanted to go with the boys because I love going to stuff like that with Nick and Alex. It's always really funny. So,
which is why we went. What was funny though is on the way, it's well, y'all are from East Texas. I'm sure y'all been to one. They're like, no, I've never been to one. I'm like, why? What about you? No, no one in the car had been to one.
I got in the car and I asked Christy and Gina, so what am I going to expect? And she's like, I don't know. I've never been to one. I thought you had. I was like, no. And I looked at Eugene and I go, let's be honest. Who in this car would be the most likely to have gone to a monster truck show? And he and I both looked at Christy.
Yeah.
And
she's like, nope.
I said, you grew up in East Texas. I'm from Houston. Okay. It's not really a thing. It's a thing. We have Monster Jam every year, but I never went to that. So I will say though, within 2 minutes of the thing actually starting, I literally looked over at Eugene and I was like, I am so in.
Yes.
So fucking cool. Because I had no idea. I was like, what the fuck is the point of this? They're just gonna like run around really fast? No, girl. They fucking take those things and just fucking like, oh my God, it was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun.
So I agree.
I used to watch it when I was a kid. My favorite was Gravedigger.
That's why we went.
And see, that's why I think, I don't know, I'd have to kind of see where the boys are with it right now, but like we may end up trying to do another one. Like this was kind of like I don't want to say junior league, but kind of like AAA ball type thing. So like, I mean, they were good sized trucks. I mean, they were fucking monster trucks, but they weren't like Gravedigger. They weren't like the super monsters that you really have to kind of like an outdoor arena for. And we talked to one of the guys. He's like, yeah, he said, this is kind of like where they, like you said, it's kind of like AAA. He said, but it's more affordable and it's a little more family friendly or whatever. So we may end up still trying to go to like an actual huge big time one sometime or another. But we'll just kind of see. Nick enjoyed it. He had a lot of fun, but Alex was all in. Like he was fucking.
I have pictures of Alex that are so funny of him
Yeah.
like sitting in the seats or whatever. And he's just like watching, and then like I asked him a question, and he's looking at me, and then he like heard like one of the trucks, and his eyes get all bit. Oh my God, it was so.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So
I had a really good time.
all right. So let's see here. What's the last fast food you've eaten, Ray? And I got to change my answer on this one.
Canadian staple. We had Tim Hortons. Both of us.
Yours is different though because you had it.
Yeah,
you
so
had it more recently.
Yes, I had a 2 cream, 1 sugar coffee, and a farmer's biscuit sandwich, which is just a biscuit, and it has egg and cheese, a little bit of spicy sauce of some sort, and a hash brown in that. And
Can I just say that is the most Ray order of anything ever?
Absolutely.
Biscuit and a 2 cream, 1 sugar coffee. Yup, that's right.
me, I'll take it.
Love it.
Yeah, it was good. There's nothing called the lumberjack special though, so it's.
I love that.
All right, Chris, what's your answer?
Also Tim Hortons, but I got a chocolate dip donut.
Fuck yeah, you did.
Yes,
Fuck
I did.
yeah.
They're not very good, but I wanted something.
You sound like me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like it, but
Listen, well, no. See, we're spoiled because
what it was? They have really amazing chocolate chip muffins.
Oh yeah.
And I wanted a chocolate chip muffin heated with butter because it's glorious. And I was going to get one for him. And she said, we don't have any. We're out. And I was like, what? I said, I'm like, what? Well, now you've thrown me all off. So I had to think about the poor girl. So I'm like, I'll take a chocolate chip donut. A chocolate dip donut.
So, but the problem,
it's disappointing.
The problem up here is, okay, so we've had Krispy Kreme, which
It's
is delicious.
fine. It's all right.
But there's a place that's local, and dear God, they make the absolute best donuts.
Best donuts.
we've
When
ever
you guys
had.
come up, we'll take you there.
Yes,
Nice.
you have to. This is like a must because they're made fresh and they're so good. Anyway.
Place in Fort Worth like that, and I don't like regular donuts because I'm a spoiled brat and have gotten my favorite kind of cake donuts every time I've gone to see my grandparents since I was essentially. So, but Molly and David, the last time I went to Fort Worth, were like, yeah, we're gonna go get fucking donuts. Holy fucking shit. Those are the best goddamn donuts I've ever had. They were like all freshly made and amazing. We do like a strawberry shortcake one, and it has like fresh whipped cream and like strawberries and shit. I'm like, what is this?
My favorite one from this store is a chocolate mousse that they make, and they put that inside of the donut, as in the Boston cream, but it's a chocolate mousse, and then they have their own chocolate glaze over top of that.
It's magic. I don't know what it
It's
is.
so awesome.
So
That
good.
sounds awesome.
That's
Diabetes, here I come.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's happening.
fucking give it to me, just fucking right there, right in the veins.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Lainey, what's the last fast food you ate?
I actually had to really, really think about this because I'm on a health and fitness journey. So I don't really, no, I actually try really hard not to eat fast food because it's a slippery slope with me because I am a fat and sugar monster and will fucking just binge out on it. But the last time I had fast food was like a couple months ago, and I fucking went to Jack in the Box and got my life. I got chicken fajita pita with extra ranch on the side. I got some curly fries. And then I got some extra. No, I didn't get extra curly fries. No, I got a chicken fajita pita. I got curly fries. And then I got tacos.
Nice.
And then
they're tacos.
I had a very bad stomach ache after I ate it.
I had to end up changing. I literally just realized I have to change my answer on this one because my answer was, as of yesterday, going to be Freebirds because I wanted a really good burrito.
Count?
You asshole. I was waiting for you to bring that up.
Well, it's not like I don't sit down and eat it, so I didn't really consider. It was the closest thing I had. But I had to change it because I had to go to my mom's house today and help her set up her Roku boxes, which took 3.5 hours. So I wasn't able to come home and grill hot dogs like I was originally planning. So instead I had McDonald's just because. So yeah, just birds. Oh yeah, it was so good. I loved it.
Shut up.
All right. So that was last fast food. First video game you've ever played, Ray.
So the first one I ever remember playing, and I do remember this very vividly, we were at one of my parents', it was actually my cousin, you know what? I think it might have been Cousin Todd's place. Now that I'm really starting to remember this. So I think we were at my cousin Todd's. He's an older cousin of mine by like...
A lot.
By a lot.
He's old enough to be your dad.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. So anyway, we're in the basement, and they're playing this game, and I am glued to the TV. And then they're, do you want to try him? Hell yeah. Donkey Kong.
Nice.
Absolutely blew my mind. I mean, it was incredible. So I thought it was going to be Mario. I thought it was going to be like Super Mario. But when I actually thought about it, I'm like, no, I played that one first. And yeah, it was awesome.
Awesome. Chris?
When I was 10 or 11, we got a Nintendo. And with it came Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers 1.
Fuck yes.
And I was the asshole that went right up to the TV to shoot the stupid duck because that's what I did. And I didn't care because I got high score.
There you go.
Fuck yeah. No one's going to fucking stop me because the only person that was ever playing with me was smaller than I was.
Exactly. It was my sister, and she didn't like video games, so it was just me.
Well, there you go.
And I was like, what the fuck are you going to do? You're a foot shorter than me.
I win.
All right, Lainey, what was the first video game you ever played?
Mine was actually the same one. I mean, it's not a secret. I'm not really into video games. They've never really been my thing because they stress me out. They always put me in situations that I don't want to be in. So why on earth would I want to play them? But my grandparents did have a Nintendo 64 at their house. And I remember playing that a few times, usually because my cousins would come over and they would want to play it. And I was like, okay, cool. And it had the same thing. It had Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. I like Duck Hunt.
I just have to correct you. A Nintendo, not a Nintendo 64.
Oh, I don't fucking know.
NES.
A Nintendo machine. Anyway, but yeah, we played Super Mario Brothers, and it stressed me out. I didn't like it, and go figure. And that's probably the reason I don't really do video games now. Except for the fucking Sega Star Wars game at Bit Bar, because by God, I'm gonna that thing.
Nice. Mine, I don't remember which one of the two it was. I just remember my earliest memories of playing video games, and it had to have either been Combat or Pac-Man on the Atari 2600. I owned it. It was fucking awesome. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And yeah, so. Boy, did I not know.
Yep.
Ray, what is the first movie you can remember going to the theater to see?
I didn't see that it was Remember. Because, and it wasn't. You didn't list Remember. So
I'm sorry. I didn't. You're right. I technically did not put Remember. So
there's a story that I've been told that I'm embarrassed about, but I'm going to tell it anyway. My parents took me to go see Bambi at the theater.
Okay.
And I was pretty young. I don't remember how young I was. Obviously, I don't remember the whole thing at all. So we go to the movie theater and we sit down. We were watching the movie, and the fire scene happens, And my sister is older than me, and she's crying, and my dad's trying to console her. And apparently, the only thing you could hear in the theater, other than the movie, was my little voice saying, "Mom, where's Bambi's mom? Where's Bambi's mom?" So
nice.
I was the annoying kid that didn't figure out that Bambi's mom is dead.
Yeah.
He's dead, dude.
Just dead. Just, you see that? Barbecue.
Your poor mom.
She's like consoling me, and I didn't know what was going on. Baby, mom's gone.
Fuck Disney. This is bullshit.
Yeah, it was.
I'm out.
Yeah. So yeah, it was that one.
Chris, what was your first movie in the theater?
Lion King.
No.
Lion King.
Lion King. I went with my sister. I went with my sister and my uncle fell asleep.
How?
Because he
doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't care. Yeah. So that's the first one. It has to be Lion King because that's the only one I ever remember going to when I was that young. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. All right, Lainey.
My.
Oh.
I have to like really think about this. So I think it was The Little Mermaid. I think. I've been told it was The Little Mermaid. Now you might be thinking, Lainey, that doesn't make any sense because that came out in '89. You weren't born until 1990. I know that.
I was trying to do that.
Yeah. But they used to re-release it in theaters because like home movies like weren't as big of a thing, at least where I was, until like later in the early 90s. So according to my parents, the very first movie I saw in theaters was a re-release, because they used to do that with the Disney movies, of Mermaid in the theaters.
How old was Christy? How old was Christy when you were born?
11.
So did they see Christy when you...
Probably not. Probably really pissed her off. We lived in Houston by then. She was all the way in Tyler. She was already pissed off that I even existed. So who knows?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. There's really good pictures of her holding me as an infant. When you just look at her, she's just like, how can I ruin her life? Like, fuck this kid.
I went around this out on an all Disney note, and the first movie I remember seeing in a movie theater was E.T.
That's not a Disney movie.
But the first movie I've been told I definitely saw in a movie theater that I have just slight recollections, and I had to check the release date on this to verify it, was The Fox and the Hound.
Oh, did you cry your fucking eyes out like I do?
Fuck yes, I cried my eyes out.
30-year-old, I still cry my eyes out.
I think my mom told me that like whenever they go over the waterfall, I proceeded to stand up and march out of the theater because I was like, fuck this. This is some bullshit.
Yep. I really can't even talk about that movie. It makes me so...
Oh, yeah. Logan doesn't like it. She thinks it's very sad. She just can't...
When she leaves the fox in the water.
Yeah.
All right. So, Ray, first and last must-watch TV show. Now, the reason why this is different than the last thing you binged, this is what is the first TV show you remember, and the last TV show you remember going, oh shit, it's on. I got to go watch it.
Oh.
So, that changes. Well, no, Lost in Space. Like I'm itching badly to watch.
Yeah.
So that's the latest.
Yeah.
The first one that I remember doing that to was The Muppets. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, I'm out, and like,
fucking see ya.
Go for the TV and sit down in front of it, cradle my head, and I'm glued. And I was waiting for the old guys up. They were my favorite from day one. Like I always remembered they would just hound the characters, and they would make fun of everybody. And yep.
Nice.
Muppets. I think one of them reminds me of like my grandpa.
Because he says stuff under his breath.
Yes, he does.
He's sassy.
I love it.
Chris, what's the first and last must watch TV show you can think of?
Okay, so I was a bit of a latchkey kid, so I watched a lot of television. So it's hard for me to know what I actually really wanted to see and what I was just sort of, oh, it's on, I got nothing else to do, and watch it. But I remember loving Get Smart, and because of that, I loved Inspector Gadget. And Inspector Gadget was just, I had to watch it. And then the latest one is Lost in Space, because for us, we don't have cable, so it's hard to find, and our kids are in a weird age where how is this appropriate? Because this is too young, but this might be we're pushing it.
Right.
Because we recently just showed Quinny both Hellboy movies, and I think that's the limit right
That's
the limit.
Gotcha.
But Lost in Space is something that we could all watch together, which is really nice because it's good. I mean, we've only watched 2 episodes, and it's
we're hooked already.
Yeah, it's cool.
Nice. Lainey, first and last must-watch TV show.
So the first one that I can like really remember, like not, and I'm like Chris, I was kind of a latchkey kid too. So I'm trying to like not think of like reruns that I would watch after school, because then the answer would be Full House.
Yeah, that'd be mine too.
I think the first must-watch TV I ever had was there was a program that used to come on Saturday mornings in like the mid to late 90s called One Saturday Morning. And they had the fucking best cartoons. And one of the cartoons that I loved and was obsessed with was a cartoon called Recess. I've talked about it on the show before. It is every person that's kind of around my age, like that's kind of our jam. That's what it was like to grow up, like exactly at the time that we were growing up. It was that weird, like, not the 80s anymore, but it's not the 2000s really yet. So like we still have the freedom to like ride around on our bikes all through the neighborhood and cause trouble. But we also know what the internet is. So yeah, it was a lot. But yeah, Recess was my jam. I love that show. I still love that show. I wish that they would release it on DVD because I would buy it in a heartbeat. And then the last like must-watch TV show I have 2 because I'll be very honest, they're on the same caliber for me, which I think says a lot about me as a person and how fucking garbage I am. But the first one is Game of Thrones because duh. I fucking love it. I didn't ever even want to watch it, and then go figure, Parker had me start watching it, and I love it. I'm obsessed with it, and I cannot wait for this next season, which is going to take 110 fucking years for me to finally get, but whatever. Molly, you're going to have to get out from in front of the camera, please. She can't help it. But the other one is, which again, equally excited about this show when it first came back. I literally was counting it down. Is a reality show called Southern Charm, which is all about people that live in Charleston, and I fucking love it, and I live for it, and it's so good.
My opinion just changed of you.
I know, right? Mine didn't. Mine's just like, nope, reinforced.
I am a teacher, and there are a lot of stressors in my day-to-day life. I make a lot of minute-to-minute decisions. It is very taxing. I think all day long. So sometimes when I come home, I don't want to watch anything that I have to think about. I just want to watch pretty people yell at each other.
I get it. I totally get it.
Yes. At least I don't watch The Bachelor. Like, it could be way worse. I could watch The Bachelor and The Bachelor. And I don't. I watch beautifully curated stuff by Andy Cohen and leave me alone.
Andy Cohen.
That's hilarious.
Andy, or as we call him, Andy Jesus Christ Cohen.
I had to double check my first one because I literally, as you were talking, I double checked the release dates on this. So I had to change my first one. My first must-watch TV show was Knight Rider. Like, I remember it's Friday night. I'm at my grandparents' house. It's whatever it was, 7 o'clock or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Down in front of the TV, the big console TV, watching fucking Knight Rider because that was the shit.
Yep. So just a question, a follow-up for that, because did you watch Thunder in Paradise?
That's not a real show.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
It's a Hulk Hogan show.
No.
I remember it, but no, I didn't
What
watch
did
it.
you say?
Okay.
Thunder in Paradise.
Because
Yep.
that boat reminded me of Night. Like,
You gotta go
Uh-oh.
look at the trailer, Lainey. It's
it's fucking
ridiculous.
hilarious.
It's so stupid.
Hold on. Hold on.
I may have to go back and check that out.
Oh no!
I wanted that boat.
No.
It's trash.
This
Oh,
isn't
it's bad.
real.
Yeah.
It is bad.
Awful.
What? Wait a minute. What was that short-lived bullshit series that fucking Pamela Anderson had, where she was like a detective?
Oh yeah. No, I don't remember the name, but I know what you're
But you
talking
know
about.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
This
Yeah.
is it.
Pretty much for Hulk Hogan, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, this guy's got a good God, Hulk
Oh,
Hogan.
it was bad.
Oh, yeah.
It was horrible.
Did you get to the machine gun part yet?
I couldn't look away.
Yeah, I did see the machine gun.
Yeah.
With that guy with the face.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
Let's talk about the fact that this guy that Hulk Hogan is playing is apparently a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Something
He
like that.
fucking wishes. Oh, I
Sorry,
tried.
Yeah,
you-
that
you
that
go
was
on.
a show.
Oh no.
And then my last one, the last show that I'm honestly like, I absolutely have to see the newest episode as soon as it comes out. Is Rick and Morty. Like, I know it won't be till like the next day, but I'm like, nope, gotta watch Rick and Morty. Or in some cases, I have actually been like, where can I watch this while it's playing right now? So, yeah, Rick and Morty, I fucking love that show. So, all right, what is the last DVD or Blu-ray that you purchased, Ray?
So, this is a pretty sure.
Yeah, we're mostly sure.
Because when we moved, just before we moved here, when we were living in the awesome trailer.
Yeah, in our epic trailer.
We had minimal internet, so we had to buy a bunch of DVDs and everything. Anyway,
Downton Abbey, first 3 seasons.
Yeah, so she bought that.
Poor kids. Quinn's 5 and I'm making him watch Downton Abbey.
So it was either City Slickers. It might have been.
Oh God.
Might have been. Love that movie.
You can't.
But I'm pretty sure it was Back to the Future trilogy because
Yes, I think so.
Nice.
I remember that one. I remember getting City Slickers first,
Mhm.
and then I remember seeing Back to the Future. I'm like, I have to get that trilogy.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Yep.
and
Nice.
kids love it,
Yes.
which I'm so happy about.
Yeah.
And Michael J. Fox will be at the
Fan
Fan Expo
Ooh,
with
nice.
Doc Brown,
And Leah Thompson.
Leah Thompson, and the guy who plays
Biff.
Biff. Biff will be
Are
there.
you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole
Wow.
thing will be there.
And we've
So-
already met Christopher Lloyd, so we got to make
Christopher
it.
Lloyd is pretty cool. It was cool to meet him. He was deaf, couldn't hear a word we said.
Nothing.
Uh-huh.
Just smiled. Signed our photo.
Nice.
Aw.
So what's your answer on that one, Chris?
Just Lainey, the show was called VIP. That's Pamela Anderson's.
Ew.
There you
that was
go.
like
Good
a-
job.
It's the same with Ray, because when we moved from our house, we got rid of a lot of our stuff, but we also had no internet, so we couldn't download anything. So it was a lot of DVDs purchased that
Yep.
summer, and I can't remember which one was
But I
the
remember
last
the
one.
last.
But
I'm pretty sure the last one is
yeah,
the Back to the Future
I
trilogy.
think so.
Yep.
All righty. Lainey?
Oh man, I have to look back at my list because I really can't remember. Oh yeah, I guess it was. So the last one that I bought would have been Coco.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That was
that was
a
a
good
good
one.
movie.
Okay.
Have I seen it yet? No, but I
Neither
own.
have I.
It's good.
It's cute.
Everybody told me that I'm gonna cry, and so I'm trying to like watch it
Well,
when I want.
Tears? Oh, well, maybe that one part.
yeah.
Hi, it's me.
It's
I
Lane.
everything.
It's
So
Lane.
Yeah, it's Lainey. So
She'll probably cry about the dog.
yeah,
I remember the
there's
dog.
a dog.
How do you
Yeah.
know about the dog?
I remember the dog.
Is there just a dog being a dog in a movie? Then I'll cry. If the dog dies,
I'm not gonna spoil it for you.
Molly, we can't watch this because the puppy is gonna die.
No,
No.
the puppy doesn't die.
Puppy
I
doesn't
promise you,
die.
the puppy does not die.
No.
Can't do
promise
this,
you that.
can we? We cannot.
Oh Lord. I gave up buying media a long time ago. I'm not going to count any of the disc that like my mom has like given to the boys or whatever, because she's bought like, you know, a movie and then like whatever. The last movie I remember actually buying was which is very apropos for what's going on, the Avengers, the first Avengers movie. Like I was like, I have to own this movie and it'll be on Blu-ray and it'll be awesome on my big TV. And yeah. Like, how many years ago was that? Fucking like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
7.
Jesus. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So yeah, that was the last DVD or Blu-ray that I bought. So, Ray, what was the first computer you ever owned?
So I showed a little ad on the back channel on this one.
Yes, you did.
This was our family computer. It was called a Head Start. This thing had a 2 floppy disk drive.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the first game I ever played on that was Test Drive, the original Test Drive. And it was, I remember trying to beat the time so many times and picking the different cars and stuff like that. That's when I got really into like Lamborghini and because it was like the fastest car you could get on that thing. And and then I also remember my dad got Montana's football.
Nice.
And that was the first time I ever heard a real voice come out of a computer, because the opening was, it was, "Hi, I'm Joe Montana. This is Joe Montana's football," and then it would just go into the game after that. But and I remember that was the first time I ever heard somebody's voice come out of the computer. It was really strange and weird, but
yeah.
Totally awesome. So yeah, that was that thing. It did not have a lot of memory.
No. Chris, what about you?
You were late to the game.
I was very late to the game because we were just poor. So I didn't get a computer till I was almost 17 years old. And it was a honkin', I think it was 23-inch screen. My grandparents bought it for us. They finally went because they thought it would better our education.
ICQ.
Yeah, that's when ICQ happened. So when both me and my sister. So when we discovered ICQ, it was kind of, yeah, all downhill from there. But I think it was a Dell. I think. I don't remember. Do you remember what it was? Because you were.
I remember having to work on that thing. If it wasn't a compact, it was a Dell.
Yeah, because it was just this.
It wasn't a Gateway, was it?
No.
It was still a piece of shit, though.
Yeah, because we got it in 1998. So that's when.
That's when, like, it was right around the time that Apple was introducing the really cool computer.
Oh, I know, and I really wanted one of those.
I was. They looked awesome. They were
did.
shitty because a friend of mine had one and they didn't work.
No, they weren't great, but yeah, they sure looked awesome.
It looked awesome.
Yeah. You mean the monitor and the computer are one? Whoa.
Exactly. There's no floppy drive on this thing? Are you kidding me? Yeah. Fucking awesome. Lainey, first computer.
Okay. Again, I don't totally remember. I know it was a Mac. I'm pretty sure it was a Mac Quadra.
Nice. I remember those.
I remember it was like my dad was very excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him bringing it home and being super excited. And the way that he sold it to me was, okay, I got this computer and then I bought you a computer game to go along with it. You can play Barbie's Dream House something on here. And I was fucking all in. So, but yeah, I remember like my computer at home being faster than some of my friends' computers. I do remember. Mm-hmm. I know I had a pretty good one, so it wasn't too shabby for sure. So
nice.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure on this. Probably about 75% sure. I've gone back and done some research on it. My parents, this was the mid 80s were like, hey, we've got a business. They bought a computer. Of course, they bought an IBM because, that was a business computer. But they were looking to buy a computer for home. And I remember playing around with it a little bit, but really didn't understand what you could do with it or really what to do with it. And I'm pretty sure it was a Commodore 64. So there wasn't a lot you could do with it.
So that's you.
Philip.
You're Philip.
Yeah. Yeah. So it, all basically it's all one piece. It hooks up to a television, and I remember putting it together and getting it like up and running. But then I was just like, what do you do from here? And I was way too young to understand. Oh, you got to enter in a bunch of commands and do this, that, and the other. So like I never went anywhere with it, but I remember having the fucking thing. So, man, I wish I still had it though. Just to display would be awesome. So,
So when I worked at a computer store in Owen Sound, we had a customer that dropped off a Commodore 64, and they're like, "Can you guys use this? Because I have no use for it." And so my the owner of the store was like, "Yeah, well, I'm sure we can find something to do with that." And he kept calm and cool, and I'm like, "Holy shit, that thing's actually a Commodore 64." And as soon as the customer leaves, he's like, "Holy shit, that's a Commodore 64!" He's just freaking out. Sure enough, in the middle of the store, he put this pedestal. He set it all up. It was running and working.
Nice.
Running, and I'm like, "That's awesome."
That is awesome.
He became a little kid in front of our eyes. It was hilarious. So
that's awesome. Real quick, last three. Ray, what was your first email address? You don't have to give out the entire thing.
I can because I don't use it anymore. I'm sure I have access to it somehow, but I don't remember the passwords. I used to live in Subble Beach, and so my name, my email address was beachbum_ray@yahoo.ca.
For years, disappoint me at all. I'm so happy right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Chris, what was your first email address?
Okay, so I didn't get my first email address till I was in the 12th grade. And I remember sitting down with my good friend at the time, and we actually went through a dictionary because I wanted it to be super cool and original and not have numbers with it. So I picked volupte, which is actually French for voluptuous, which was the exact opposite of what I was when I was 17, because I was 5'7" and about 105 pounds. So a bag of bones. But that was at hotmail.com.
That's
nice.
So much better.
I know. I picked that out. And it was like voluptuous. I'm like, that sounds sexy. Except, yeah.
Beach bum and voluptuous.
Yeah.
Nice. Lainey, first email address.
I didn't get to pick mine because that was in the days when AOL would send you discs to try it out. Fucking month. But my parents picked one for me. And it was the name of my two dogs put together. So I had a dog named Mouse and I had a dog named Pal. And so my screen name was Mouse Pal for a very long time.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So, but I liked it because I liked my dogs like I still do. So it was fine.
Well, there you go.
It's amazing that my email address right now doesn't have something to do with Molly.
My first email address, I still have. If I worked, I probably could get into it. I remember Lewis was telling me, dude, you should try this one out because it's free and it's brand new. They just rebranded it. It used to be called Rocket Mail. Now it's called Hotmail. And I didn't want to have a number in it, but I just finally gave in. I was like, well, whatever. I'll have a number in it. But sub_05@hotmail.com.
Oh my God.
And that probably still works, maybe. And like I said, I could get into it. So, but yeah, and I don't even know if I have anything even tied to that or whatever. So it's just like, whatever. It's there. It's just, what is the last toy you played with, Ray?
Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels?
That was easy. That was definitely the last toys that I remember playing with. in my parents' garden, making all the roadways that we talked about before. Yeah, that was by far easily, it was Hot Wheels.
Gotcha. Chris?
Barbies.
Okay.
That's all
Lainey?
I remember.
Barbies.
Mine's actually, I looked at this two different ways. Playing with as a kid, it would have been probably Transformers. But as an adult, have I played with toys? Yeah, I've played with toys. I have two little boys. And what was the last thing I really remember sitting down playing with them with? And even though they're technically rescue bots, they're still Transformers. So, still counts.
That works.
And then the last question is, what is the last amusement park that you went to, Ray?
So we screwed up.
Yeah, we remembered this.
We both wrote down Disney World because
Mm-hmm.
that was the last big, huge.
Liars, aren't you?
We are liars because on the way down to Texas
last year
we went to Great Wolf Lodge, and that's right. So we had a nice little stop at that little park there, and it was very odd to see the "No Guns Allowed" sign on the
That was
door.
weird. Yeah.
You wouldn't really think you would have to specify, would you?
Never even crossed my mind.
No, because it was in Ohio.
Yeah.
There might be a wolf here. I need to bring my gun.
What if
So, yeah.
live here?
So yes, we got out on our first trip, or our first day down to Cincinnati. We stopped in Cincinnati before Eugene had any clue we were on our way down to his place. And Lainey knew.
Yeah, she kept that secret. So
Yes, she did.
But just that one.
I remember we were so careful not to post anything on Facebook. On Instagram or anything. Like we were taking pictures. It was like, we can't post anything.
I'll be honest. I wouldn't have put two together. Been like, oh well, they're out for a drive somewhere. And
Tag ourselves like Cincinnati, and they're getting closer and closer. That's cool that they're on a road trip.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
it'd be cool if they'd come down to visit. Oh well.
They're in Dallas. That's cool.
Now that I would have paid attention to, but anyway.
Not until Dallas. All right. That's the line.
That's the line. Yeah. Lainey, we all know what was the last.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even been back for a full week yet. I've made my.
You're still recovering.
I am. I made my annual pilgrimage back to Florida this year. I just got back I try to go once a year and go see my friends and visit with them and enjoy just being with them and pretending like we still all live there at the same time, which is pretty fun when we did. So yeah, it was really good. I had a good trip. I got to do all kinds of cool stuff. I got to go to Animal Kingdom on the anniversary, and I saw Joe Rohde from afar and impressed one of my best friends, Shaquille, because I did not lose my shit. I was at total and was like, oh look, Joe Rohde. And Shaquille goes, you're not gonna go get in line? I go, no, I have my Joe Rohde story. I'm okay. So
I'm good.
I was like,
I'm okay now.
just over there being all cute and Joe Rohde. I'm perfectly content to just watch him. So, and then, yeah. So,
Nice. Yeah. Well, my answer here is the same thing. Disney World. Went to Disney World over Christmas break with my family, and it was a ton of fun. So, I don't do amusement parks very often. Of course, I'm thinking that may change in the next several years. So, but
coasters are bomb.
Yeah,
we're planning our next one. So, because
nice.
Amy's gonna be there.
Yes, she is.
Well, that is our show for the night, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, it was our first and last of a lot of different kind of pulp culture type things. But let's go ahead and move on to our picks and pans for the week. Would anyone like to go first?
I'll go.
All right, Lainey, what you got for us?
So I have got my kids have been. This is kind of like a personal pick or pan, but my kids have been working on a budget project in class, and we ended it this week. But it might be the cutest thing that they've ever done.
For second graders, I could see that.
It is so adorable. to like, I already knew that this class was going to be a lot of fun with something like this, because on the 100th day of school, we did a project, or we did like a little mini assignment where I told them, okay, so pretend like Miss Moore has given every single one of you $100 and you get to spend it on whatever you want. And so we got laptops, and my kids actually like went online to like Amazon and on Walmart.com and actually looked up prices and track all the different things they wanted. And it was just really funny and eye-opening for them to like understand like how much things actually cost, because kids don't know. And parents don't really make a point to really get them to understand that nowadays, you know?
Oh, no, I make sure my boys know.
Oh,
we try very hard.
And add the 13% HST, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Also don't get to really hold like tangible money as much anymore either, which is a little bit of a difference. But this last 9 weeks, we started off like we were talking basically about, you know, being a producer, being a consumer, needs, wants, goods, services, all that kind of like economy based everything. And part of what we did was we devised, you know, a list of like wants and needs that we have in the classroom every day. And we talked about like budgeting. Okay. Like I made them start to finish. They had to figure out, okay, of all of these wants and needs, about how much of this stuff do you use in a week? And like listening to their conversations was so funny, and just they're so cute. This has been an ongoing project where they have had to decide, you know, okay, if we want to use the iPads in the morning, we have to pay for it. Well, is it worth it, or do we just want to read our books instead? Would that be okay too? Yeah, I think it's cool. Maybe we can just read. Maybe on Friday we'll go for the iPad. Like it's so hilarious.
That's awesome.
Their logic. And one of my groups, they've come up short every week. And finally, like this week, they sat each other down and they were like, guys, listen. Something about the spending. And like they turned to one of the other girls, were like, you know, we've noticed that like you buy a lot of erasers. And we feel like maybe if you would just like put them in the basket in the middle of the table when you're done, we could help you keep track of them so we don't have to keep track of them. It was so hilarious. So
that's awesome.
I have genuinely enjoyed working with this class this year. They have been so much fun. And this project has just been like any other class. I'm sure it would be a total headache, but it has been a dream with them. Like they're total pros at it now. I've had so much fun, and they're just so cute because I've had parents tell me like, yeah, you know, we'll be at home and they'll ask me about a budget and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, about like the bills that we have to pay every month. And
oh, I think she froze. She froze.
Ooh.
All right. Well, hopefully she'll be back. It's a really not flattering picture of her either. Ray, do you have a pick or pan for the week?
Yeah. So these two are kind of picks and pans. And I'd be upset with myself if I didn't bring it up. So there was a tragedy in there's two tragedies recently in Canada. One was there was a hockey team that was on a trip, on a bus trip going to an area, and they had collided with a transport truck, and 16 of the players were killed.
Wow.
And, 16 of the team. So some of them were coaches.
Members, yes.
Some of them were trainers. The youngest was a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
But most of them were in their teens and 20s.
Late teens, early 20s. Yeah.
Yeah. So just unbelievable. Sorry. Go ahead, Lainey. You can finish up.
No, sorry. My KISD is pushing updates, and apparently my computer decided it wanted to update right now. So.
Of course.
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Anyway, super fun project. I've really enjoyed it. This class has been a total joy to work with, and this project has been stupid fun, and they are genuinely learning about real life stuff. So it's been really, really cool. So I'll take it for sure. I would totally keep doing it with them, but I think they're actually getting tired of it because they're just like, oh God, we have to get out our check registers again. Like they're over it. So we're gonna go ahead and stop this week.
Yeah.
You're so cool.
All right, Ray, you were saying?
Yeah. So
It was the Humboldt.
The Humboldt Broncos. So it's both a pick in the pan, obviously. Pan is that it happened at all. The pick about it is that the good thing is the response from the community to support the families around them has been incredible.
It's been nationwide.
It's been worldwide.
Worldwide.
There's been hockey associations from around the world that have made donations. There was a team in Sweden that put flowers at the Canadian Embassy in honor of the Broncos. So just the outpouring of the support has been incredible. The other one that I wanted to talk to about real quick is the incident that happened in Toronto recently. I don't know if you guys heard about it or not. There was
yeah, we heard a little bit about it. Yeah.
So gentleman in a van decides to jump the curb and plow through over 30 people. 15 of them have passed away.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that.
And some in very serious condition still. And then there was at least 17 injured. Again, both pick and pan on that one. It should never happen. But I appreciate, again, the response that has happened on that one. The police officer that made that arrest, I commend him and thank him for his services, because not a shot was fired. The guy did everything he could to try and provoke the police to shoot, and they got him, and they have him in custody, and he's going to be held accountable for it. And
he's been charged with 10 counts of first-degree murder.
Yeah. So, and that's going to go up.
Yeah, that will go up
as the updates happen. So, pretty. And then again, the heart or the outpouring of support. And I know it sounds horrible, but I am appreciative of Toronto moving on and saying this. We continue with our lives, and you can't scare us. And we're not saying it's terrorists or anything like that.
It wasn't a terrorist attack.
It wasn't a terrorist attack that it was associated with anybody. It's just some guy that lost it. And so, anyway, that's kind of the picks and pans. And I think I'm going to leave it at that one because it's kind of depressing, but it's something that I had to get off. So.
No, I understand, dude. Yeah. Chris, anything to follow that?
Oh, so our kitchen, we have cabinets, which is super awesome. And there's stuff in the cabinets. So that's fantastic. And
that's awesome.
It's starting to happen. And so speaking of money, Lainey, yesterday we went shopping with the kids because I did grocery shopping.
I didn't.
No, you didn't. I went. And with my mom, we went to Walmart, and I told the kids, like, oh, you have some money left over. Why don't you guys buy something? So they grabbed their money and we went. And Quinn picked up this infinity gauntlet. This massive infinity gauntlet that he can wear.
It's nice. Like it's a.
He has taken
yes, I've seen
outside. It. He wears it constantly. He's punching the couches and making the sound, and he thinks he's actually hit himself with it. It's actually really heavy. He hurt himself, so doesn't do that anymore. And he bought some Skittles. So he spent just under $50. Logan, on the other hand, found she had one black little Voltron. Well, she found the rest of the Voltrons. She also bought some gum, and she bought a fidget cube. She didn't really properly check the price on the Voltrons. She thought she looked at the wrong price. And then when she took it up to the cashier, and the cashier's like, that's $150. She's like, what? She forgot she looked at the wrong price. She had enough money and she forked it over, but she was just like, and she looked at the receipt and she was like, those were $27. And she's starting to rack through. I'm like,
welcome to real life.
You wanted it. You got what you wanted, but it cost you. So yeah, she was a little shell shocked for the rest of the day. Happy, but shell shocked that it cost her that amount of money for the rest of her little Voltrons.
I completely understand that.
Yeah.
I still don't do the math. I still do not do the math for the amount that we spent on Skylanders because it terrifies me.
We can't. We don't discuss that because it's
terrifies.
It'll be too much money.
Yep. Nope. There are certain things I'm like, nope, I'm not going to go back and count this. That just, it happened. It's a thing. I have it now. And that's just how it stands. So
We're just going to leave that.
Yeah.
I have to say I'm a little envious of both of those purchases. So
She bought a 24 pack of gum. She is obsessed with gum, and she's like, 24 packs. And she was so excited. And yeah, she's trying all the different flavors. She's super into it.
My first pick is Lost in Space. We've mentioned it multiple times on this show. If you have not watched this on Netflix yet, you need to get this in your life. Watch it with your kids because it is family friendly, but not to the point that it's. I never feel like, how sometimes you watch stuff and it's, it's definitely aimed more towards family and you're just like, oh, this is kind of making my diabetes act up. It's never like that.
And boring.
The twist that they have given on all of the characters is wonderful. I love what they've done with these characters. My second pick, I have seen it twice now. Going to go ahead and announce we will probably be doing a special episode next week on Avengers Infinity War.
La, 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 la.
No spoilers. This movie was tough. This was a tough movie. You will understand why once you see it. All I will say is everyone I know that has been posting, going to go see it. I've just been saying you are not ready. And most of the people come back and reply, you're right. I was not ready for that. It is a roller coaster and it's a thing. So, and then my final pick, normally I try to limit this to 2, is last week I was on another podcast and it was awesome. What it was they wanted to have me on a podcast and wanted to try to figure out to do something with Ghostbusters. So I came up with a bunch of ideas and I was like, I'll just throw this one out there. I don't know if they're going to go with it. So I'm like, hey, why don't we retrofit Ghostbusters into a Kung Fu movie? And that's the one they picked. And we had a lot of fun doing it. If you get a chance, go check out the PCR podcast or the Pop Culture Retrofit podcast. Number one, it's a lot of fun listening to these two guys anyway, but I think I held my own pretty well. The show went really well. They are Canadian, so
Cool.
you used to that. So, but yeah, so it was a lot of fun. If you get a chance, go check out the Pop Culture Retrofit podcast. And give it a listen. I had a lot of fun doing it, and hopefully those guys will have me on again. So that is our show for the week, ladies and gentlemen. If you would, please check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Epically Geeky. Like I said, we will probably be doing a special episode next weekend, either Friday or Saturday night, to discuss Avengers Infinity War, because much like the Star Wars movies that have been coming out, this was one that there's a lot of thoughts, a lot of opinions, and some of us may need to work through a little bit. So hopefully you can join us then. Give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Music. It does really help out getting the word for the show out there. We're actually going to be recording a new episode of the Marginally Geeky Show this week, where we're talking about how Star Wars conquered the universe, which was the book that we were reading, which was really awesome. Spoiler alert on that one. So, if you can check it out then. So, where can we find you online, Ray?
You know what? Not a lot lately. I've been too busy working on the house. Too much going on. So, I'm going to say not much. I'm offline for a little bit. Gotcha.
Chris, where can we find you online?
I'm just on Instagram, other than being on Epically Geeky and Marginally Geeky shows, at Cedar Birch Cottage.
Yes, and she has been posting.
I've been doing a lot of Instagram stories, posting the other stuff not so much, but I really like Instagram stories. I like watching them more than I like posting them. But there's some accounts that I'm like, when are you posting? I'm like hooked, and I got to watch theirs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lainey, where can we find you online?
Find me on Twitter and on Instagram at It's a Lainey Bird.
And you can follow my individual wacky adventure online at Optimus Gene on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For everyone on the site, have a good night.